welcome to another random review. I am, well, Brandon, and as you can see, it's time for some Batman. Who doesn't like Batman? If you don't like Batman, you are a communist. No, I kid. No, seriously, Batman, without a doubt, one of the greatest superheroes ever. You know, he's one of my favorite comic book heroes, and you know, I've gotten arguments, people who in there saying, I think that, Iron Man is way better because he can totally kick Batman's ass. Yes, I've gotten to those arguments. And let me just say, first of all, you're wrong. You're just fucking wrong. And second of all, you're fucking wrong. It's just, what do you care? I don't tell you who to like. I don't sit there saying, well, if you like Iron Man, you must be a frickin' moron, because Iron Man can't do baby. No. Who cares who you like? I love Batman. I think he is the man. He's just, and this game is one of the best interpretations of Batman. You know, Kevin Conroy returns, voicing Batman, and Mark Hamill returns, voicing the Joker. What was really, really fantastic though about this game is just the overall story, because the story is, you know, for those of you who don't know, Batman takes Joker to Arkham Asylum. And Joker actually wanted to be caught, and Batman kind of realizes that, and the Joker's just like, oh, you sprung my trap gloriously. You know how Joker talks. I can't do a Joker, guys. I can do the Heath Ledger Joker, the why so serious? But I can't do a Mark Hamill Joker. But anyways, and then the whole game is you chasing down Joker, just going through his evil plans, finding out what his actual diabolical plan was. But you know what's really fantastic about this game? Not just the story and all the characters, but the overall gameplay. You get combat, which a lot of games has borrowed from that. It's this combat. It's a nice beat 'em up. But it's like it's a great beat 'em up, actually. You know, you just you really feel like you're kicking their ass, because you can do counter moves where, you know, you're doing some badass kung fu shit. You're hopping around, rolling, dodging, using your cape to stun enemies, beating them up. And what I always personally love to do in this game, people, is, alright, when I down to that last enemy, I let him come at me. And then I counter him, because Batman always seems like he will, like, sometimes break their frickin' legs. He won't kill you, but he was no problem with just breaking your limbs and making you, like, in a tremendous amount of pain. Yeah, the ending to this game people really have a problem with, though, story-wise, and I can agree. It kind of has a lackluster ending, compared to the rest of the game. I could say they could have done better, but you know what? It's a comic book game. And I don't want to use that as an excuse. Well, it could be cheesy because it's a comic book game. No. It's good, and it's great, and it has kind of that comic book feel to it still. It's not as dark as, say, The Dark Knight. Also, speaking of which, it feels like a darker version of the comics, too. Like, you see, little spoiler, I guess, sort of, not really. Scarecrow. You see Scarecrow, and he is a dark version of Scarecrow. Like, the way he's dressed, the way he looks, what he does. He is a dark version of Scarecrow, unlike, you say, the comic book versions, early comic book versions where, he still uses fear gas and all that, but he wasn't, he looked more comic booky and less like, oh, this guy's really dangerous. Joker still looks like Joker, let's be honest. I do love, though, is how the villains are not afraid to kill anybody. The villains are always a bunch of psychopaths, so of course they're not going to be afraid to kill anybody. But it always seems like something they miss sometimes when they're, especially with the Tim Burton Batmans, they really missed having the villains be truly freaking psychotic where they're killing them. You find these audio logs sometimes, and they're actually, best way to do audio log, everybody, when I can continue to play the game and you have the audio log playing, and if it comes up on a cutscene, you stop the fucking audio log. But it's really great because you get they really just are there for the Batman junkies, because you can listen to the doctors talk to Killer Croc Poison Ivy, Joker, Harley Quinn. You can listen to them talk to every single one of these people and say, basically kind of get deep down in their psyche. Also, they will give you a tremendous amount of little character bios of characters that aren't even in the fucking game. Like, they give you one of the Mad Hatter who is not in this game. And you can just read in case, if you just want to, you're like, oh, I never heard of this character. What does he do? They'll frickin' tell you. I mean, I was rather impressed by that. I mean, they really let you get deep down into the Batman universe, get your hands nice and muddy. You really also feel like Batman though with the gameplay. Just, you get to certain sections of the game where you gotta be stealthy. You have to be stealthy, but you get to do a Batman style, not, you could either sneak up behind him, you could set traps for him, you can hang over a gargoyle and hang him upside down while they scream for help. And what's really great though is the villain, like the thugs, they'll actually get scared. They'll start shooting in the dark. They'll be frightened of you. And I was just, yeah, that's so awesome. You also get a lot of Batman toys with the Batarang, Sonic Batarang, grappling hook, all that fun little stuff. Explosive gel. You get a bunch of just Batman toys to play with, and it's just amazing. The soundtrack to this game, also Batman. I mean, this game is without part and parcel a Batman game if I've ever seen one. It's a wonderful mixture. Say if you take some parts from the Tim Burton Batman and some parts from the Christopher Nolan Batman, you mixed them, and then you got this comic booky yet dark version of Batman. It is so freaking fantastic. I really do love this game, but it's not perfect at times. At times, like I noticed, this is kind of a flaw in the game. The game kind of almost makes you sometimes leave your detective vision on too long, which is a vision that you use to detect things. They sometimes make you use it for far too long, and I love the graphics of this game. The game is using the Unreal Engine to a perfect extent, and yet, they make me look at this blue version of it, and I don't want to look at the blue version of it. I want to look at the main version of it. But sometimes, you don't get a choice. The only time detective vision's really good is when you're taking out thugs with guns, when you have to be stealthy, because you can see where they're at all times. But when I'm going into a fist fight, I want to see my work people. It's just one of those things where it kind of bugged me that they kind of would make me do that. I can't tell you how many times. I mean, basically, I have 100%ed this game before. Like, I found out all the Riddler trophies, which kind of got annoying, I'm not gonna lie. The Riddler trophies got pretty fucking old. And it's just kind of turned into one of those things like, Riddler, dude, like, okay, all these other villains are trying to do whatever they're doing to take over Gotham or whatever. They're all being evil, and what's your evil plan but to hide fucking toys for me? Oh no, not the question marks. And it's really, after you find all his stuff, it's really just kind of lame what happens. I was just like, really? I spent all this freaking time going back and forth looking for all this. Speaking of which though, people may not realize this. It plays a lot like a Metroidvania game. It's not a side-scrolling game, but the fact a Metroidvania game has something where you've got to go back. You earn new equipment and you go back to certain areas because you couldn't get there before. And this game has that. And it really does. Like for a while there you don't have a grappling hook. When you get the grappling hook, you can go back and unlock a lot of certain areas where mostly it's just find Riddler trophies or Riddler clues or whatever. They're never like, oh, you found the secret character or secret boss or, you don't find any of that. But it's usually just 100% the game. Even better though is, say, once you complete the game, you beat the story, but you're still jonesing for some Batman, they have challenges. These challenges could vary from either just survive. Like, they just send you an infinite amount of guys that are attacking you, and you just gotta use your Batman skills to get out of them. As in Batman skills, just basically beat their ass. And it's just a survival of how long can you survive, how many points can you accumulate. Then they have Predator challenges, which is, how stealthy can you be with these circumstances, how stealthy and how quick can you dispatch all the enemies as well. And then they also have, like, the beat 'em up ones, where you have to go through so many levels of thugs, beat them all up, and do it in style without getting hit, so that way you can get a better score, because you get vary from bronze, gold, silver, and all that. Otherwise, you got that to extend the game for a bit, but it overall has nothing else. If you have the PS3 version, they do have some challenge maps where you can play as the Joker. Sadly enough, I own this on the 360, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But otherwise, this is a fantastic product. The story, you're going to be ranging about 6 to 7 hours. It really depends how much time you're willing to put in. Honestly, you can blow through the story in about 4. I mean, if you just run from beginning to the end, you don't stop and look for anything. You just, you beat up the boss, beat up the thugs, you don't explore. Yeah, you could blow through this in 4 hours. But if you really take your time to explore and find the trophies, and you do that, there's not that many of trophies. I mean, there's quite a few, but compared to the sequel, there's not that many. There's enough, and they're pretty easy to find, pretty easy to get to, and you just have to think about them for a little bit. I really find the riddles a lot more fun than the trophies themselves, just because it's something where it's almost kind of a thinking thing, where you're like, okay, let's think. Alright, he uses this riddle, what is in this room? And sometimes, I'll admit, I have just started scanning everything in the room. I just scan. It didn't matter. Otherwise, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's gonna be like, this is another one of those games, people, where, this is the third game in a row where it's not gonna be more than $15. You find it on Amazon, you find it at GameStop, you find it, well, not at Walmart. Walmart charge you $20. But, you find it all those other places, it's not going to be that expensive. You're not going to be breaking the bank for this game. So I cannot do anything more but to recommend this to everybody. So, I gotta say, with it being pretty cheap, it's been a fantastic game, fantastic story. And you know what? If you love the Batman as much as I do, then this is a must-have. So I gotta give this an A-. I mean, has a couple of flaws that I don't like with the end of the story and the end of the Detective Vision thing. But otherwise, it's a fantastic game, and it's one of the best adaptations of Batman I've ever seen. If you would like me to check out any game, just to play, because, maybe you like to, or, it's kind of like promoting the game or whatever, let me know in the comment section. Only, you have to go to bloodyscreen.weebly.com for the comment section. I will not look for them on YouTube because, so you gotta go there. Don't forget to subscribe and do all that other fun stuff, because, you know what, I do this for you people. I don't do this because I think I'm gonna make money out of it. I do this because it's fun, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback. So, post in the comment sections, ask us questions, do all that fun stuff. Me and the other hosts, we love this, and we would love to keep going, but, we need you guys. We need you guys just to show some support. Alright? Thank you. Alright. Good night, everybody.